picture a created being, perfect in beauty, who, when walking on God's holy mountain, was a living symphony of worship before the Lord. He was called Lucifer, the morning star, the one filled with brightness. His image was so magnificent that his own heart was lifted up in pride, exalting himself on high, esteeming himself worthy to rule over God and his kingdom. God, who knows all things hidden in our hearts, immediately recognized the imperfection within Lucifer and cast him, and a third of the angels who chose to worship him down to the earth. The mistake Lucifer had made was to start looking at his own abilities and qualities and to think that he could do a better job than God. This was his downfall. In doing this, he changed his allegiance from worshiping the Creator to worshiping himself. What a shock it must have been for this creature of perfect beauty to discover how imperfect he became when he chose to follow his own governance. Being cast out of God's presence forever. What an awful sentence. The brightness within Lucifer, which was only the reflection of God's glory, vanished as he was cast out of God's presence. His countenance and his nature changed. Even his name was changed. He became Satan, the adversary, the arch-enemy of good. God's punishment filled Satan's heart with an explosion of evil, and the crown of God's creation, man, became the main target on which to exact his revenge. God saw great potential and worth in man and believed that we, created in his image, could rule over sin in a world placed under Satan's dominion. How is that for a vote of confidence? Satan wanted to take over God's position of rulership in heaven, but God saw it fit to place a creation of his own, bearing his image, in Satan's dominion to overcome him in his own territory. Just like Satan, man proved vulnerable to temptation and failure.
God's mercy endured and Jesus Christ restored the authority we had before Adam's sin. This places us, once again, in a position to walk with God, have access to his direct presence, and, best of all, have his dwelling spirit within us, which leads and empowers us in our battle. Satan is a created spiritual being. The Bible tells us that he was a high-ranking angel, whose heart became filled with pride and he was cast out of heaven. Satan was then given dominion on the earth. He is called the god of this world, and he later offered this world to Jesus on the condition that he bow down and worship him. Today, Satan and his ranks of demons still roam the earth, searching for those whom they may devour.
Satan's hierarchy.
Satan sits at the top of all evil, with his principalities directly under him. These principalities, his high-ranking demons, are in order from strongest to weakest: Beelzebub, Abaddon, Apollyon, the beast, Leviathan, and finally Belial. Satan's main task. Jesus gives the best description of Satan's main task.
John chapter 10 verse 10, "The thief cometh not, but for to steal, and to kill, and to destroy." Satan's characteristics.
Pride and arrogance, demands worship, rebellion, anger, envy, sloth, blasphemy, accusations, deception, angel of light, lies, temptation, stealing, destruction of flesh, blocking the work of God, performing all power, signs and lying wonders.
The fruits of Satan, or in other words, the works and actions.
Stealing, steals scripture, robs you of godly relationships. Killing, murder, destroys, blasphemy, accusations, betrayal, false prophecy, pretends to be Christian, adultery, fornication, idolatry, sorcery, contentions, outbursts of wrath, dissensions, heresy, drunkenness, revelry, insider against God, brings division in relationships.
The emotions of Satan.
Fear, hatred, jealousy, anger, envy, rejection, despair.
The attitudes of Satan.
Disobedience, rebellion, pride, love of money, opposer of God and his children, not mindful of the things of God but cares about the things of man, lack of faith, lack of self-control, inability to forgive, greed, selfish ambitions.
The conditions of Satan.
Uncleanness, lewdness, removed from the presence of God.
The illnesses of Satan.
All kinds of sickness and all kind of disease, blindness, mute, leprosy, bound in iniquity.
God's reward for overcoming Satan in your life.
Revelation chapter 2 verse 26, And he that overcometh, and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. Revelation chapter 3 verse 5, He that overcometh, the same shall be clothed in white raiment. And I will not blot out his name out of the book of life, but I will confess his name before my Father, and before his angels.